Welcome, everybody. I was saying to our live audience that we were waiting for you, and we're so glad you joined us. Happy Easter to you as well, wherever you are, and I hope that this day is a day of miracles, which is what I'll be talking about in just a little bit. Right now, I'd like to turn it over to Leo and Robin, and we'll have some music.
Thank you. Rise up, oh my soul. Rise up, oh my soul. Rise up, oh my soul. Let spirit flow. Rise up, oh my soul. Rise up, oh my soul. Show me the kingdom wherever I go. Rise up, oh my soul. Rise up, oh my soul. Rise up, oh my soul. Let spirit flow. Rise up, oh my soul. Rise up, oh my soul. Show me the kingdom wherever I go. Heal the sick anywhere I walk. Be my tongue anytime I talk. Make people love God. Make them stronger with every word. Help them see that heaven is all around. Heal the sick anywhere I walk. Be my tongue anytime I talk. Make people love God. Make them stronger with every word. Help me to do it each and every day. Rise up, oh my soul. Rise up, oh my soul. Rise up, oh my soul. Let spirit flow. Rise up, oh my soul. Rise up, oh my soul. Show me the kingdom wherever I go. Show me the kingdom wherever I go. Rise up.
Take a moment and just say hi to someone near you.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome. My soul is welcome here. 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 My soul is welcome here.
Aha! Wonderful. So right now I want to invite you into a different part of our service than usual. For those of you who've been coming for a while, how many of you have experienced the personal blossoming ceremony before? Yeah. It's our way of acknowledging that this is a day set apart, as many days are, but this particular one is special to those in the Christian faith, and we honor it in the way that we honor that faith. Today is a special day for other reasons as well, because there's only 3 times in a century when Ramadan and Passover and Easter all occur in the same week. And this is that week. And so Ramadan is in the middle, and Passover has just been coming to a close, and Easter is today. So this ceremony has to do with the flower in your hand. Let me get mine. Thank you, Michael. And so I want to invite you to just into a very simple contemplation. So you're going to be looking at the flower. And I want to invite you to really see the flower in all of its glory. Noticing as you do that it has imperfections. Not every single petal is exactly symmetrical with every other petal. Mine has a little bend in it over here, and these over here are kind of falling off. And yet when I see the flower, all I think of is how beautiful it is. And I suspect that if we could anthropomorphize the divine and give it a voice and set it outside of us and have it looking at us, all it would see is the beauty of you. That's the truth. But I want to take you further this time, this blossoming. Because if you notice this flower, you may notice, if you look deeply enough, that it's made up of non-flower elements. It couldn't exist in your hand without the rain, or the sun, or the soil, or the microorganisms within the soil. It couldn't exist without the careful tending of the gardener, the truckers who brought the flowers from the fields, the grocers who purchased the flowers and displayed them in their stores, Susan and Sandy who went to the stores multiple stores to find the flowers that are in your hand. So this flower is made up of so many non-flower elements that we could truly say that it couldn't exist without everything. And we could truly say that about each of us too. That we're made up of non-human elements. And that we couldn't exist without the support of the entire universe. So, in this understanding, it's a really good time to set an intention for what you're going to do with your universally created, beautiful self in the coming year. And that's what our flower ceremony is about. So the ushers are going to dismiss you by rows, and you're going to come up the middle aisle, and they're going to dismiss from the back to the front. And then you're going to place your beautiful self in the form of this flower in one of these two vessels. And then this side will go around, and this side will go around, until the vessels have all of who we are represented today in these vessels. So I invite you to enter sacred space as you walk forward, holding that what I'm speaking about is the truth of you, that you are truly beautiful, even the parts that you haven't considered so, and that there is an intention for you being on the planet that took everything to bring you here. And the question I'm asking today is, and what will you do with your lovely self in this coming year? So set an intention, knowing that in that space, intentions do manifest. All right. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to do a short prayer for your intention. And if you forgot to set one, quick. These are good prayers. Michael's about to do one too. So I just say my word, knowing that the full power and love of Spirit dwells within each of us, that the intention set is now unfolding. No time and space in the realm of the Spirit. And so simply saying the word within allows everything to move in our favor. So I know your intention is unfolding, that this dream of yours is now unfolding. And I'm grateful. And so it is. So I don't think there's children, right, Joe? Aw, he's got all these reciprocal Easter egg things. He might share after, I don't know. No, he goes, no, they're dark chocolate. No. So I will invite Michael up to do our prayer.
Hello, everyone. I'm Michael Tatlock. I'm the practitioner of the day. So if you have your phone that is not set on silence, please take the moment and set those on silence. I also want to thank Susan and Liv for helping out this morning, being Pod 2, and our practitioner in training, one of our students here. And so I welcome you. Happy Easter, everybody. Somebody's wearing a Easter bonnet. I think it's a tradition that needs to come back. What do you guys think? Right? Right? Next year, this time, Easter hats all over. That's what I'm looking forward to. All right. So just take a moment and settle into your chair and take a nice deep breath and know that there's just one power, one presence, one beingness that is joyful, is growing, is beauty, is love, is happiness, is laughter, is good. And I know that as I am this living embodiment of that joy, that happiness, that beauty, that love. And as I know that I know that everybody here and everybody who is watching online also encompasses all those same divine qualities. And I know that we bring forth those qualities today in our individual manifestations as together we collectively form this amazing beacon of light that fills this space with love and happiness and beauty and joy and growth and evolution. And as we evolve and grow, we send our love and our light out to the world. Because that's what we're called to do. And it's this very simple miracle that we get to live each and every day. And I call this good. And I say that it's more and more good is coming to each and every one of us. And as release this, and I just simply say, and so it is.
In the stillness of this moment, there is peace, there is peace. And in the stillness of this moment, there is peace, there is peace. And I rest and trust and breathe and know that in the stillness of this moment there is peace. In the stillness of this moment there is peace, there is peace. the stillness of this moment, there is peace, there is peace, and I rest and trust and breathe and know that in the stillness of this moment there is peace, there is peace, there is peace. There's days when I can feel so disconnected, wondering why I'm making things so hard. Then I just recall that God is in us all is good, and all there is God. If God is love, then who am I to doubt it? As if love were meant for others, not for me. If God is love, it's true then for me too. All is good, and all there is God. Is God. All there is God. Now it's clear to me that only good can be. All is good, and all there is God. All is good, and all there is God. All there is God. Sweet God.
Thank you very much. Okay. So Easter is a challenge for me. I don't know about you, but I was raised in a Christian household, and as a little girl, it was completely mystifying to me what we were doing. I don't know how it hit you, but being raised in an Episcopalian tradition, I got to walk to church, which was lovely, because in Corvallis, Oregon, at this time of year, a little warmer than here, the lilacs were blooming, and the tulips were up, and the daffodils, and everything was beautiful until we got to the parking lot of the church, where this giant cross, and it had little niches in it. And actually, this ceremony comes from my childhood memory. We were handed a flower, and we were asked to put it in a niche. So, and it was a giant cross, And so, I was like, in my little child mind, I'm like, this is so weird, that this poor man was crucified on a cross and we're putting flowers on it. It just seemed like, what? Of course, as I developed, and I'm sure as you developed, if you're in that tradition as well, you realize that actually this is the day that many Christians celebrate because Jesus rose from the dead on this day and was resurrected, and in that tradition went to be with the Father, which is a word for God. And so, okay, I could go with that. As I got older, I was like, I could go with that, sort of. But still, they call the day he was crucified Good Friday. And then, okay. So as I then went more into my studies in college, I began to question and say, tell me more about this, because I'm baffled by it. I want to understand why. And of course found out, as many of us had, that this is a good thing, that Jesus isn't dead, but he is now eternal. And so the hard part for me is, yeah, no kidding. And this is what I mean by that. So, in our tradition, which comes out of the Judeo-Christian tradition, we understand that we all have a soul. That's why Leo was singing quite a bit about the soul, and that our soul is eternal. It never was born, and it never will die. It is an eternal part of the essence of all it is, spirit, God, whatever you want to call that divine. And so the soul is forever and ever evolving. And what we know about Jesus is that this was a being that was born into a human body and had full realization of his oneness with the divine from birth, is what it sort of sounds like. When you read the different scriptures, you realize that this incredible being arrived with an awareness of the full illumined nature of where we're walking and being, and then began to teach from a very young age, began to teach about it and try to reach people and talk to people and gift people with that understanding. So in my mind, he's an amazing being, an illumined being. And the gift that he gave is evident because billions of people through the centuries have been inspired to reach for their own illumination, whether it's through art or music or theology or simply being kind to one another. This teacher, who is a rabbi in the Jewish tradition, has inspired out of his illumined oneness with the divine this incredible outpouring of love and beauty and everything good about humanity. And so, I'll leave the secular organizational part out today, the part that really didn't understand Jesus' message and made an organization around it that didn't always deliver beauty or illumination. So we'll leave that for today and talk instead about a couple of the things that were really important to know about Jesus and about us, because one of the things that he kept saying was, hey, I'm not different than you. I'm a human just like you. And these things that I'm saying and knowing and doing, you can do this and more. That was his message, was like, hey, no, I'm not different. And it reminded me of a story this morning. I was going through all my stories about Jesus, and I was thinking about an old story now, but it was a contemporary story written by Richard Bach. And it was sort of an allegory, if you will, about these little sea creatures, river creatures, that were clinging to the bottom of the river. And that was their whole life, is they were clinging. And it was hard, to hold on against the current. And their whole life was spent holding on, hanging on, clinging. And one day, all the little creatures who had been hanging on and clinging to the bottom of the river looked up and they saw one of their own, only this one was seemingly flying. And they said, "Teacher, Messiah, tell us how you got to that place." And he said, "I'm not different than you. The only thing different is I let go." And most of them immediately went back to clinging even harder because that sounded like a stupid move. But a couple of them went, okay, well, I want to be free like that, so I'll let go. And they were immediately tumbled and smashed against the rocks at the bottom of the river. And then some of them went back to clinging. But a couple of them said, no, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm letting go. And eventually we know rivers. What happened to those creatures is they were lifted and moved into the current, and just like the one they'd seen, carried into the ocean. Essentially, that beautiful little allegorical tale is essentially a tale for us, and a tale about when we meet an illumined being, or we read the writings of an illumined being, or we walk in the consciousness of an illumined being, we have choices about who we become. We can do the same old. No one's stopping us. You may have noticed that. Our parents tried. But almost everything they told us not to do, we had to try anyway, right? And then we developed our own habitual ways. So we can do that. We can keep doing that our whole life. We can just habitually do life the way we've always done it. Saying to ourselves, well, this is the way I've always done it, and it's not that bad. But you know what I say about that. Anyone who says it's not that bad to me, I immediately in my mind go, that means it's not that good, right? So we can cling, or we can let go. And what are we letting go of? What is that about? What was Jesus trying to tell us? Well, let's take today, for example. So let's assume that actually Jesus did disappear from the tomb and rose out of death into an eternal life, and then came back in body and talked to his disciples and said, hey, death isn't real. Hey, see, I'm still here. You don't need to be afraid anymore. Death is not something to be afraid of. We continue. We are eternal. We are ever-evolving beings. See? So if that was the teaching, let's consider for a moment how attached we are to keeping ourselves from thinking about death. I don't know, have you noticed that? I've noticed that. I've noticed all kinds of thoughts that come through my mind about what if, and then this other part of me goes, oh no, we're not talking about that. We're not thinking about that. We're not doing that. Let's just go eat something. Or let's just go watch something on a screen or something, No, most people are very uncomfortable when thoughts of not being here in this body come up. So what if Jesus was right? And we actually let go of the fear of death? What would happen to us? I've been in moments like that. Maybe you have too. I've been in moments, only moments, sadly, but I'm getting there, where the fear of death disappeared. And what happened to me is, I suspect, what happens to everybody who lets go. All of a sudden, the world is filled with beauty, filled with love, filled with possibility. And there's no fear anymore. It's like we're walking in the Garden of Eden once again, where everything is just pristine and beautiful, just as it is. And there are no dark edges. You know what I'm saying? So that was one of his teachings. And then the other teaching that goes with this one was the teaching of his ministry, his life, what he did throughout his life. And some of it was deliberate and some of it was accidental. So I'm going to tell you about some of the deliberate parts first. So one of the messages that all great illumined beings offer into the world, and Jesus was no exception, was the power of love to transform not only self, but society. And so Jesus spoke over and over and over and acted very deliberately in ways to teach people the power of love. How? I mean, if you're not familiar with these stories, I could go on, but I only have 20 minutes. So let me just say, one of the things that he was famous and famously criticized for, so famous and famously criticized, was that he included people at his table when he was eating and doing things that were the outcasts of society. The tax collectors. Hopefully none of you are those. But, they were scum of the earth to the Jewish people at that point, because what were they gathering taxes for? The Romans, the occupiers. So tax collectors were not appreciated. But there they were at his table. The harlots, the prostitutes, there they were, wiping his feet with sacred oil, precious oil. And on it went. He gathered people there was no discrimination. It was just love everybody. Love everybody. And that was his deliberate message. But out of that deep, illumined sense of love, that beingness of love, he also had accidental transformations happening all around him. And that's why the title of this talk is A Miracle-Filled Life. Because when I read the stories about the accidental transformations that were going on around him, I believe every single one of them. I do. Because I've read enough and I've encountered enough illumined beings who are humans to know that that's possible. So what am I talking about? People, all they had to do was be near him to have instantaneous healings of physical ailments. There was a woman in a crowd, and Jesus was walking, and she reached out and grabbed his robe because she had a bleeding disorder, and she was instantly healed. And Jesus felt the healing happen and turned and said, "Who is it?" so that he could identify her. So he's walking along, and there's a leper. And in the days that the Bible was written, leprosy meant any skin disorder. So maybe it was just psoriasis. I don't know. It could have been full-on leprosy. But a leper came up to him and said, "I know if you heal me, I will be clean. I know that." And Jesus said, "You are clean." And he was. And on and on and on it went. Probably most of them not even written down. And so one of the teachings is that the power of love is so transformational and so powerful that when we can bring ourselves into that place, even if it's not quite like Jesus, okay? Even if it's just some, we bring into the world a healing power unlike anything anybody ever experiences in their normal habitual ways. And it's transformational. This is important to any of us who are grandparents or parents. This is important to any of us who have employees or are employed. This is important if we're children or adults or seniors, because the power of love is transformative no matter what age you are and no matter what you're doing. It's just that you have to be in it. So that's part of why Jesus came. And when people said, "Well, what's the most important of the commandments?" Because he was Jewish. There's 10. He said there's 2. Love God and love your neighbor as yourself. Okay, sounds like love to me. So one other thing, and then I've got 5 minutes, so I'll close. Because I really love talking about Jesus. I just have trouble with sort of the framework that they put it all in. So there's a story in the Bible about a Roman general. And the Roman generals, of course, they were part of the occupying army. And this one was called a centurion because he was in charge of 100 men. And one of his servants was deathly ill. And he had heard about Jesus and the power of healing that Jesus had. And so he went to Jesus. This is the occupier, a soldier. And he said, I have heard of you. My servant is deathly sick, and I know you can heal him. And Jesus said, well, do you want me to come and be with him? And the centurion said, oh, no. For like me, if I say to a soldier, go, they go. And if I say to one of my men, come, they come. I know that if you say, be healed, the servant will be healed. And Jesus was amazed at this man's faith and turned to his disciples and said, in all of Israel, I have never met one with so great a faith. And I think the story is there to remind us of this other part that Jesus was bringing forward in people is faith. Faith in goodness, faith in healing, faith in the divine, faith in other people, faith. Because the centurion not only had faith in the healing power that Jesus had, but he had faith that Jesus, a Jew, would give the gift, even though he was part of an occupying force that was very disliked. Faith. And so, to me, faith is the trickiest of all the teachings of Jesus on one level. You know, you and I can love a baby. Easy. In fact, you better watch out. A lot of us are going to want to say hi. We can love a puppy or a kitten. We can love our family, mostly. But faith is something that we have to cultivate. It's like the creatures who are clinging and let go. It takes a certain faith to kind of let go and open to something more, something deeper. And yet, the teachings that he was giving, he basically said, if you have faith of a mustard seed, have you ever seen one of those? Of a mustard seed, you'll say to that mountain, move, and it will move. So how do we cultivate faith? Zena and I will be talking about it the rest of the month. I'll leave you with a cliffhanger. Did I leave anything out? For me, the thing about miracles is I don't really think they're miracles. I just think they require a finer perception than most of us walk around with. I think what we would say is a miracle is actually normal. We just haven't reached the point of being that open with our mind and our heart to be able to experience it that way. So the pathway, just to remind you, is love and faith. And so I'll do a prayer for that now. Join me in knowing that there is one. This one has gifted itself into expression by means of each one of us. Jesus was the great way shower. And all the great beings from all different religions have been way showers in their tradition as well. What are they showing us? The way of love and faith. The way to let go and open to a deeper, richer life connected to the divine within. Jesus was clear, the kingdom of God is within us. So there's nowhere to go. There's simply somewhere to be. And so I know for you, and I know for myself, that there is a willingness now to open to a deeper knowing within ourselves, to love more fully, to give more deeply, and to rest in the kingdom of the divine always. For this willingness I give thanks. Will you say with me? And so it is. Thank you. All right, our ushers have prepared for the offering, and we're going to invite you to also give if you are able. We appreciate every single donation. And as you see the baskets going, many of our people give on a regular basis through the mail or through PayPal. So if you don't see money, it doesn't mean there's not money coming in, and we appreciate the gifts that you give. Thank you.
Pour yourself in me, pour yourself into my heart. Oh, wonderful Spirit, shine your light in me, shine your light into my heart. Oh, wonderful Spirit, sing your song in me, sing your song into my heart. Oh, wonderful Spirit, dance and smile in me, dance and smile into my heart. Oh, wonderful Spirit, pour yourself in me, pour yourself into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit. Whoa, wonderful Spirit. Whoa, wonderful Spirit.
Okay, well, we have a couple of announcements. This is our last week for host forms to be turned in for an incredible season that we have once a year. And if you're new with us, you may not have gotten to experience it. So I just want to talk a little bit about what is Gourmets for Good. And what it is a whole bunch of people offer to create a meal for 2 people, 4 people, 6 people, 8 people, however many they can serve. They create a menu, they create a plan, and they put that plan and the menu on a host form, which is on our website. And then starting in May, they'll be bidding for a seat at one of their tables. And those of us who want to bid will get a bidding number. And then we'll go and we'll look at all the different dinners and different things that are being offered, and we'll put bids down. And the bidding only goes for 3 weeks. And so each week, the bids go up. And that last week, it's a little crazy in here because everybody really wants to be able to have a seat at a certain table. I have actually honestly been pushed out of the way once in a while. So it's fun and it's joyous and it's a little competitive. And the dinners are our way of not only raising funds for the center, it's our biggest fundraiser of the year, but it's also a way for our community to connect in a small group with each other and get to know one another. So these dinners are an opportunity to share with others of like mind and have a nice meal. And so I would like to invite those of you who maybe have not turned in a host form to consider doing that. Right now we have some really incredible offerings already that have been turned in. Joe and I decided to do a multicultural dinner, and we say that with a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek. It's called Ruin Your Day Fiesta. And ruin is spelled R-U-N-E because I happen to be a ruin reader, and so we'll be teaching people how to make tamales. And while the tamales are cooking, we'll be having ruin readings. But that's just one dinner. There are so many dinners of so many kinds, and we'd like to invite you to think about creating a dinner yourself. Maybe it's a picnic. Maybe it's breakfast in bed. Maybe it's, I don't know. Be creative, but this is the last week to submit a host form, and we hope you will. And then we'll tell you all about how to get a bidding number and how to do all that in a few weeks from now. So thanks in advance. We have coming up one of our semi-quarterly opportunities to learn together, and this is coming from our diversity and inclusion perspective. And if you haven't read My Grandmother's Hands, it's a really incredible book, and it talks about how people move trauma from being in situations that are traumatizing. And so any of us who have experienced trauma can learn techniques from this book, but also learn about racial trauma and how people have learned to work with it and release it from their body, mind, and spirit. So it's a really interesting read, really lovely. Francine Kitchen, one of our practitioners, will be leading this book study. It begins April 17th, which is in about a week. No. Yeah, in about a week from Monday, and it's a Zoom experience. So if you're interested, sign up on the website, and she'll get you anything that you need to know, including the Zoom link. We also have a core value of being wise stewards of our center, the center's finances, and the earth. And so we have an Earth Stewards team, and they would like to invite you into celebrations around the Earth Day global experience. So the first one is a national prayer that's happening for the earth in all the countries of the world. And we are fortunate this time because it's at noon. And so what we invite you to do is get together with friends or wherever you are, set your timer on your phone, and at noon exactly, sit down, stand up, be by a river, be by a tree, be in your home, and do a prayer for the earth herself, rejuvenating, regenerating, and that all the people of the earth are combining their energies together to heal the earth and to allow it to be, once again, an Eden. So that's the first thing, and that's on the actual Earth Day itself. Okay, I think we really need to do that prayer. I think that's a sign, don't you? Yeah. So you got your phone? Go ahead and put it in right now. Noon, the 22nd. But we also are blessed with different people who maybe don't come on Sundays, but they're a larger part of our community. And one of them is Michelle Sanger. And she owns Living Earth Herbs and has led from time to time those of us who are interested in a plant walk. And so on the Sunday after Earth Day, the 23rd, right after the service at 11:45, she's going to take us on a little 25-minute walk around the property and teach us about the plants that we are living with, so that maybe we can not only appreciate them, but maybe understand how they can be used and how they're offering themselves to us in healing ways. So mark your calendars for that. That'll be really fun as well. And then we have a teen group fundraiser, and there's two coming up. This is coming up the first, and it's on April 22nd, same day as that prayer you're going to do at noon, right? But this is, you register online, and what it is, do you know what an escape room is? No, you don't register online. Oh, that's right, it's too complicated. So you're registering at the Ask Me desk, which you can do today. We're raising money because the teens want to go to summer camp, which is a week-long camp. Costs $550? $525 per person, and we have 3 that would like to go. So you sign up to do this escape room. The minimum donation is $25. They've been practicing the escape room stuff, and what it is you're with a team, and you have to figure out all these different puzzles, essentially, in order to escape the room. A claustrophobe's nightmare. However, it's a really, really fun adventure, and I know that there are already people that have created teams and are going to do it together. So we invite you to sign up at the Ask Me desk and or call the office if you're listening on the live stream and take a seat and help the kids get to camp because it's really a valuable experience for them. And then I'd like to invite Kalish up. And Kalish is offering, we've been having these pop-up events, and these are all to raise money for the center. And Michelle, who I mentioned, is doing the plant walk, and Kalish are offering an opportunity for a really different pop-up.
Hi. So, I was going to start my watch. Oh, well. What you can see there is those 3 screens. They exist in a particular spot that we have rented that so that there are 12 of them. So there's 12 such units. And then there's 10 chairs. And what we've done is set aside a day so that every hour for 5 hours, there's an opportunity for somebody to sign up. And so we can raise $1,500. And I'm real clear that my intention, all of these flowers represent the full $1,500. So you can sign up for 1 hour, you can sign up for 2 hours. You just have to sit in the chair, and then you can experience some of the miracles that have been experienced by others through this. Through Radiant Healing Unlimited, somebody has already told us that their incontinence went away. Another person, those of you who know Lori Heck, she was experiencing COVID for the past 3 years. She no longer is. And then there's all kinds of other miracles that have been expressed and told about, but they haven't come through our center yet because we've just been open since March 1st. And so take it away.
Yeah, we'd love you to sign up for this. And there we go. We'd love you to sign up for this. And thank you to Michelle and Kalish for offering not only the opportunity to raise money for the center, but also to have healing. So feel free to do that. Today is Men's Group Day, even though it's Easter, and I don't know if Phil has dark chocolate Easter eggs, but he definitely just got back from a men's retreat, and I have a feeling he'll be sharing some of the incredible stuff that he brought back with him. So feel free to join him. He'll be in the classroom at noon. Women's group is next week. And we just met, and we have something fabulous planned. So mark your calendar for next Sunday at noon, women, and join us for that. And then we experienced Yessie and Jam. I do that all the time. It's Yam and Jessie. And these wonderful folks have a vision of offering songs that are part of what knits the world together in community. And so they have been offering community song gatherings the fourth Sunday of every month from 6 to 7:30. And this one's coming up on the 23rd. And it's really fabulous if you love to sing. And even if you don't, if you're told as a kid that you are tone deaf or something, this is a very healing circle to come to because nobody cares. You can sing, you can open your throat, you can be part of a community weaving. It's very beautiful. So feel free to come. It's by donation. And let's see. You may have noticed in the back we have these containers, and these containers go to the food bank carrying the love we have given by means of a can of green beans or a can of chili or a box of ramen or whatever you can donate. And this food drive goes through the end of this month, so if you would like to look at your pantry or the next time you go grocery shopping, buy an extra can, we'd love you to donate to them. They have seen quite an uptick since the inflation began in families showing up needing support with food so that they can use the money they normally would put there to get themselves to work or pay the rent. So every little bit helps. And wow, the Mind, Body, Spirit Fair for the first time in 4 years is coming back, and we're very excited about it. And the only reason we're telling you about an event in July is because half the booths for the vendors have already been rented. So what we do is we open to the larger community and us to rent a booth and rent booth space, basically, and bring what your healing mind, body, spirit fair thing is, so that the many, many people, we had 500 people the last time we hosted this, come in and out, so that you can tell them about what you do and actually maybe even gift them with the service that you offer. So if you are one of our community members and you haven't heard that we're doing this online, there's a tab that says Mind, Body, Spirit Fair Vendor Booth. You click on that and you'll see what's left, and you can register for that. Right now we're in the early bird phase where it's a little cheaper to rent a booth space. We'd love you to be a part of it. So that's that. And of course, we're having meditation in the classroom, and I know that you've all gotten the memo, but if you missed it, it starts at 10 promptly and goes for about 15 minutes, and you're welcome to come. And I think that might be it. However, yes. We haven't got it yet. We haven't got it's not up on our registration yet, but okay. But what she's holding up is a teapot. And I'll tell you that on May 6th, we are having another teen fundraiser because they have to have the money in pretty soon. And this one is a high tea. And so hostesses and hosts are setting up tea tables, and we have lots of wonderful baked goods that gluten-free and gluten-full. And we're going to raise money for the kids again. And I wanted to make sure that you knew that you may have noticed if you've been here that we've been having coffee back here. But the sound team is like, could we move the coffee? Because it's too crowded back there. So we did. We moved the Ask Me desk and the coffee into the classroom. And you're invited to go on in, have a cup of coffee, enjoy yourself, talk to people, and at 1 minute to noon, leave. Because the men will be meeting in there. Right now, with that said, let's stand and we'll sing one last song together.
Peace in my life is growing because I choose love. Love's always present, it's what I'm made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. That binds us, that can't be undone. I choose love. Thank you. Oh.